Hi guys, Ms. Berg again. We are now going to go into the next lesson. However, 9.3 is graphing data and 9.4 is making line graphs, which you will not need to do this year. So I'm going to skip those. So we're actually going to be going to 9.5. However, 9.5 is also going to be going with 9.6. So this is actually going to be like a combination one where you're going to have part of your homework is on 9.5 and part of your homework is 9.6 because we really don't need to take 2 days to go over these lessons. So I'm going to combine it into one. So we are going to start on page 559. So I'm going to flip this around. All right, so first, before we even start, I want to talk about some things. When you're going to see like the word term, what term means is a number in a pattern. So if you see something saying the first 4 terms, that means write the first 4 numbers of the pattern. The next thing that you also should be seeing is that if the pattern is getting bigger, so the pattern's getting larger. It means one of two things. It means you are either like adding or multiplying, because that is how you get your numbers to become larger. If the pattern is small, is getting smaller, then the only 2 operations that make your numbers smaller is subtracting or dividing. So it's just something to keep in mind as we go through this. All right. On the first week of school, Joel purchases 2 movies and 6 songs from his favorite media website. If he purchases the same number of movies and songs each week, how does the number of songs purchased compare to the number of movies purchased from one week to the next? All right, so it's saying, how does the number of songs are listed first to the movies compare from one week to the next? All right, so here it says, use the 2 rules given in the problem to generate the first 4 terms. Remember, that is the first 4 numbers of the pattern in the sequence for the numbers of movies and the numbers of the songs. So it's saying movies to songs. So now we can go with the movies. It was going by 2. So every week he's going to be purchasing 2 movies and 6 songs. So this was week 1. So then week 2, in order to figure this out, it would be this one. Week 2 would be this one. You would just add 2 more to find your next week. So that would be 4. But when it comes to week 2, here, remember, it's going by 6s. So this one is adding 6 every time. This one is adding 2 every time. So if we keep on doing that, then 6 plus the next 6 is going to be 12. And then if you kept on going, this would be week 3 is 6, and then 18. And then week 4 is going to be again going by 2s. This is 8 is next, and then this one is going by 6s. So this one would be 24. So now what they want you to do is to write the number of pairs that relate to the movies to the songs. So it's saying movies to songs in that particular order. So for week 1, it was 2 movies to 6 songs. So it would have been 2, 6. Then this one, the ordered pairs for week 2 was 4 to 12. Then week 3 is 6 to 18. And then the next one, week 4, is 8 to 24. So now what they want to know is they said, all right, for each number pair, compare the number of movies to the songs. So what they want you to do is compare the number of movies to songs. What is going on here? Does anyone see a pattern as to what is going on if it was going from 2 to 6? And this one is going 4 to 12, then 6 to 18, then 8 to 24. Who can see that pattern? Well, if you look, that pattern is if you take 2 and we're increasing, we're getting bigger. So in this case, we're either going to be adding or multiplying to get this to be bigger. So if we were saying like add 3, add 4. If I was adding 4 to get to that, because 4 plus 2 would give me 6, then that means if I add 4 here, 4 plus 4 should give me 12, which it doesn't. So it can't be adding. That is not the case. But if you go and you try to multiply, 2 times what will give you 6? 2 times 3. So then if you do this by 3, see if it is giving you 12, and it does. And if you do 6 times 3, does that give you 18? And 8 times 3, does that give you 24? And those are all working. So therefore, how you can relate to this is you can say the second number is 3 times larger than the first. So the other thing that you could do, and this is what I would do, I would probably say you would take your movies, the amount of movies, and you would times it by 3 to get your songs. And that's the pattern in this case. Taking the amount of movies, timesing it by 3 to get this song. So from 1 week to the next, the number of songs Joel purchased is blank times as many as the movies purchased. Well, it is 3 times larger. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the next one. All right, now here it says when Alice completes each level of her favorite video game, she wins 3 extra lives and 6 gold coins. What rule can you write to relate the number of gold coins to the extra lives? She won at any level. How many extra lives will Alice have won after she completes 8 levels? All right, so there are 2 ways to think about this. Just like here as well. It did say movies to songs in this case, so we had to go in that direction. But if it said songs to movies, you would do the opposite of timesing by 3. It would actually be dividing by 3. So that is just how you look at it. So in this case, what they want you to do is to look at each term and try to figure out what is going on here, going this way. So what is the rule just going across with the lives? You start at 0, then you go 3, then 6, then 9, then 12. Well, the rule between these, you could also say, okay, let's times it. It's either timesing or adding. Times or add. So if I go and I add here, 0 plus what will give me 3? Well, that's 3. So if I do this every time, 3 plus 3 has to be 6. Does 6 plus 3 equal 9? Yes. So all of these are working with my plus 3. So this one is add 3. Now the other thing I could have done is I could have also seen, well, 0 times what will give me 3? Well, nothing times 0 is going to give you 3. So that's automatically out. So you could have looked at it that way, or you could have saw 3 to 6 times it by 2. So if you times this by 2, it should be 12, and it's not. So it did not work out with the times. So therefore, your rule is add 3. To go this way across. Now, so one level to the next, Alice wins. How many more extra lives? She wins 3 extra lives. Then to the left of the table, complete the rule for how you could find the number of gold coins won by each level. So now we're going to talk about the gold coins. If you times, that would be 6 times 2. So then does 12 times 2 equal 18? It does not. So that does not work. So then the only thing it could be would be adding. So 6 plus what is going to give you 12? That is 6. So then hopefully it works for every single one. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. So therefore, your rule here is adding by 6 every time. So from one level to the next, Alice wins how many more gold coins? She wins 6 gold coins in each one. Now it says, now you're going to write number pairs related to the number of gold coins to the extra lives. This is where you got to really pay attention to what is being said. So now what it was said is gold coins have to be first, then extra lives. So in this case, in level 1, it would be 6, 3. Then level 2, it would be 12, 6. So write that, 12, 6. The next would be 18 to 9. And then level 4 is 24 to 12. So these are the ordered pairs for this. All right, now it says complete the rule to the right to describe how the numbers pairs are related. Use the rule to find the number of extra lives at level 8. So for each level, the number of extra lives is blank as great as the gold coins. All right, so what is going on from extra lives to the gold coins? What is going on across this? What's happening is, how do I get from 3 to 6, 6 to 12? And it has to be the same exact thing every time. So if it is adding, then if I add 3, then this has to be adding 3 and giving me the same thing. So 3 plus 3 is 6, but is 6 plus 3, 12? And that's where it's a no. So therefore it's not adding. So then the one going this way would probably have to be times, but we have to figure it out. 3 times what will give you 6? Should be saying 3 times 2. So then if I do 6 times 2, does that give me 12? Yes, it does. 9 times 2, does that give me 18? Yes, it does. So therefore, the rule from extra lives to gold coins is, multiplying by 2. However, what they want to know is they are actually wanting to know the rules here. And this is where, if this is multiplying by 2, then if you reversed it and went this way, what are you really doing? Well, what is the opposite of timesing by 2? If you're going this way, the opposite would be dividing by 2. Now, also, the same thing as saying dividing by 2, there is a different thing that you could have also said. You could have also said dividing by 2 or multiplying by a half, because that is what's happening when, like, you're doing your keep, change, and flip. Remember, the flip of this would be what you're multiplying by. You're multiplying by half is the same exact thing as dividing by 2. So that is what this one is showing. So what they wanted you to say is either multiplying by half or you're dividing by 2. Me personally, I would have picked the easier one, which is the dividing by 2 one. So what is the rule here? The rule is the extra lives is half as great as the gold coins. So you could have said you're going to take the gold coins and then you are going to divide by 2 to give you how many lives. So in this case, if you did it here, in order to find out this, I would have to do 48 divided by 2, because that was the rule. And then that's going to give me what is missing here. So if I do that, can 2 go into 4 how many times? That is twice. Subtract, that'd be 0. Check it, we are good. So bring down your 8. How many 2's go into 8? That would be 4, which is 8, leaving you with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer here would have been 24. All right, so you would have, after level 8 levels, she would have won 24 extra lives. All right, so what you're going to be doing is you're just basically going to be figuring out what is the rule here. So yeah, going across here is adding by 5s, and going across here it's adding by 10. So you could go this way to figure out the next one. Or you could also, I want you to start seeing that you could see a pattern even going across like this. So what would you do to 5 to get it to 10? Well, you could add 5. So you could add 5 to get there, or you could have times by 2. So we got to figure out which one it is. Well, if I add 5 to here, so it's 10 plus 5, is that going to give me 20? No, it's not. So that's not it. So if I did 10 times 2, would it give me 20? Yes. So if you kept on going, each one of these would satisfy the timesing by 2. So therefore, what is the rule going from here to here? You are simply taking the nickels and you are timesing it by 2 to get the dimes. So that is the rule. Now, knowing that, if I kept on going this way to figure out this number, I'm going by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20. This would be 25. So 25 times 2 to figure out this number now, or I could have simply have gone across. 25 cents times 2 is 50 cents. That is the missing numbers there. So, and it says complete the rule to describe nickels related to dimes. So they said nickels to dimes. So you have to do it in that order. So how you would do that is you would do nickels. And then the rule is times the nickels by 2 to equal your dimes. And that is the rule. All right, next. Complete the rule to describe how one sequence is related to another. Use the rule to find the unknown term. Okay, so there are a couple things that you could do here. You could actually see a pattern going this way, days to the amount spent, or you could see it going from here to here as well. It is possible to see both of those. So just keep that in mind. If I were going days to amount spent, it looks like it's timesing by 2. So if I did 2 times 12, is that 24? Yes, it is. So if I were just to try, only had a day, but not the time spent, I would just take my day and times it by 12, and that would give me my amount spent. That's one thing that you could have done. Also, you could see a pattern going this way. So what are you doing to a 3 to get it to 12? Well, I'm seeing probably times 4. Let's see if that is going to work for all of them. Does 6 times 4 equal 24? Yes. Does 9 times 4 equal 36? Yes. So what the rule is from number of books to the amount spent. So from going from here to here, what is that rule? Well, if you looked over here, going from here to here, remember it was timesing by 4. So therefore you should be multiplying the number of books by what to give me the amount spent. It is timesing it by 4. All right, next. If I kept on doing that, I need to go and now use that rule to find the missing numbers. So what is missing is this one. So the rule again is timesing it by 4. So 24 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16, carry your 1. Then 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So therefore the missing number was 96. Here they want you to do the exact same. Now it says divide the weight of the bag by what to get your number of marbles. So now we are going from here to here. So it's telling us we're going to be dividing. So it's actually helping us. So you can also think of it the other way. How many 10s go into 30? Or so you could also divide this out. How many 10s go into 30? That would be 3. So maybe this will work for every single one. Is 60 divided by 20. 3 as well. How many 20s go into 60? That would be 3. So therefore, the answer is looking like you were dividing it by 3. So now knowing that, to find this number, I'm going to have to go and use that same rule, which is dividing by 3. So I'm going to take 360 and I'm going to divide it by 3 to find the missing number. So how many 3s go into 3? That is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, that'd be 0. Check it, we are good. So then we can bring down our next number, which is a 6. Now, how many 3s go into 6? That is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, that'd be 0. Check it, we are good. So now we're going to bring down our next number, which is a 0. How many 3s go into 0? That would be 0. 0 times 3 is 0, with nothing remaining. So therefore, the missing number right here is 120. All right. So again, I want you to try these on your own to find the rule. So here's the rule. So try the rule and then try finding the missing number on your own for both of these. So go ahead and pause that and try 4 and 5 on your own. Okay, so you should have paused it, and if you did do it, again, I was telling you earlier up here that you guys could go from batches to muffins if you wanted to. That right there would have been times 12 to find that number, just using this number. Also, you could have done numbers of eggs to the muffins as well. And if you saw that, you would times that by 6. Well, that's what it was saying. You would take the number of eggs by what would you do to get the number of muffins? So here you're seeing that these numbers are increasing. So it's either adding or multiplying. Adding does not work, so it's only multiplying by 6 to get the muffins. So you take the number of eggs times 6 will give you your muffins. So if I wanted to do this, I could have done it either way. I could have done 9 times 12 because that's that rule, or I could have done 18 times 6. And if I did that, it would have came out to be 108, and that is your answer. Next, it says number of meters to laps. Well, what's happening is those numbers are getting smaller, and it's actually hinting to you as to what's going on. It's telling you you're dividing. So in order to find out what you would have to divide, you should have divided it out to figure out what was the unknown number. when you divide it out, 16 divided by 4, you would have found out that it is 400. So in this case, you would have to divide it by 400 to figure out the number of laps. So here, if I took the rule, which was taking the meters and dividing it by 400, that will give me this number. So if I did that, like I did right here, 400 can go into 640 one time. That would have been 400. You would have subtracted it. It would have been 240, which is still smaller. So I could bring down my next 0. How many 400s will go into 2,400? It was 6. So therefore my answer would have been 16. Okay, so that's the answers to 4 and 5. Now we're going to go on to 6. We'll do that one together. Suppose the number of eggs were used in exercise 4 is changed to now 3 eggs for each batch of 12 muffins, and 48 eggs are used. How many batches and how many muffins will be made? Okay, so this is what it is saying. It's saying the batches, first number of eggs will be this line, and then muffins will be this line. So if you are doing this, the batch number 1 is, they said that now it's going to be changed to 3 eggs a batch. So now it's going to be 3 for each batch to make 12 muffins. So they said if this kept going, so if I kept on going with this, the second batch would be 3 eggs for each one. So 3 plus 3 would be your next one. So that would be 6. And then here, 12 plus another 12 to make 2 batches, that would be 24. So you can stop right there. Now we can also work on trying to figure out what kind of rule is going on here. So if I looked here, I could have looked from batches to eggs. That could tell me something. So if I went this way, 2 to 6, 1 to 3, well, that's timesing by 3 that way. So if I'm going this way, it's actually going to be dividing by 3. So remember, it said 48 eggs were used. So then right here, it's going to go like dot, dot, dot. What this means when I say dot, 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 it just means there's a bunch of numbers in between here. It's just we're skipping a whole bunch. And then what they did is they said, okay, now it is 48. So how many batches is that? And how many muffins is that? So to go from here to here, I would have to divide it by 3. And now if I wanted to go from here to here, I'd have to figure out that rule. So if you look at these ones, going from 6 to 24, 3 to 12, what do you see is happening? Well, I see that they are timesing by 4. So therefore, I have to times 48 by 4 to figure out this number. So, and then here I got to go and work backwards and do the division. So I'm going to take 48 divided by 3 to figure out how many batches that is. 3 can go into 4. How many times? That's once. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, that'd be 1. Check it, we are good. Bring down your next number. How many 3s go into 18? That is 6. 8 times 3 is 18 with nothing remaining. So therefore, this is 16 batches. Now going this way, we would have to do 48 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32, carry your 3. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So therefore, this unknown is 192 muffins. Okay, next page. This one is talking about a roadmap. So Emily has a road map with a key that shows every inch on the map equals 5 miles of actual distance. All right, so she will drive on two roads to get to the beach. One road is 7 inches long on the map, and the other road is 5 inches on the long. What is the actual distance that Emily will drive to the beach? Write the rule used to find the actual distance. Okay, so the rule in this case is, so it says for every inch on the map, inch, and then I'll say map, is going to equal actual distance. So if I have 1 inch on a map, that is going to be 5 miles. Okay, so if I have 2 inches, that would be 5 plus another 5, that would be 10 miles. So if you could look, what is going on? What is the rule going this way? Well, the rule is you would take the inches. So I'm going to write the inches times what's going on. I'm timesing by 5. And that is going to equal the actual distance. So in this case, now that we know the rule, it said that one road was 7 inches. So 7 is 1, and the other one is 5. So what if we had 5, and then we had another one that was 7? So 5 inches, in order to figure that one out, I would have to do 5 inches times 5 would give me 25 miles. And then if I wanted 7 inches, that would be 7 inches times 5 would give me 35. But then it said, how much of actual distance is that? Well, we have to add those together to figure out the total amount. So it's 5 plus 5 is 10, carry your 1. Then 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. So therefore they went 60 miles in actual distance to get there. All right, so I want you to try 10 on your own real quick. So you can go ahead and just try that one on your own. All right, so if you did that one on your own, you should have saw what, if you could figure out a rule, you could have gone this way, like I said, or this way to find a rule. This one was definitely timesing by 3. And if you did that, also it says what is the unknown number. You could have done 5 times 12 because that was the rule going from days to miles. Or if you were doing runner to miles, you could have timesed it by 3. And then 3 times 20 would give you your 60. And then it's asking what is the rule that relates miles to the runners. That is multiplying by 3. All right, so what is going to be your homework? Again, this is both 9-5 and 9-6. So I will give you both of these for homework at the end. I'm going to actually skip over to 9-6 so I can give it to you all at once so nobody forgets about the second homework. So 9-6 is just like 9-5. They're just also saying you could also section it out this way, which I was just telling you. So if you wanted to find 7 days worth, you could have saw what was going on, what is the relationship here. So from going from 2 to 6, 1 to 3, 3 to 9, you should be seeing that you are multiplying by 3 to get that number. Then you should be seeing a rule going this way. So going from 3 to 15, well, that's timesing by 5. So then if I went here, what is 6 times 30? 6 times 5 is 30. That is true. 9 times 5 should be 45, which is true. And if you keep on going, you are seeing that that is a true statement. So from going from this number to this number, you have to times by 5. So how could I figure out this number? I would just take 21 and times it by 5. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So that would be 105. And then they're saying over here, what is the possible rules? You would take the number of sections by what to find the number of members. So that was timesing by 3. And then you could also see it this way, taking the number of members and multiplying it for the total area. So going this way, it was multiplying by 5. So therefore 21 members would be 105 square feet. Okay, so I'm gonna actually skip this section. I'm just gonna go over to the next rule over here. So it's saying, it says a lot of stuff. This is very wordy problem, to be honest with you. It says Max builds rail fences and 1 style of fence. Each rail uses 3 vertical fence posts and 6 horizontal rails. How many rails does he need for his fence of 27 posts? So it's saying first, think about what the problem is being asked and what you should know. As each section of fence is added, how does the number of posts and versus the number of rails change? Next, make a table and look for the pattern, which they already did for you. Use what you know about 1, 2, and 3 sections to write a rule for the number of posts and rails needed for 9 sections of fence. Okay, so here we go. You should be looking for some type of rule. So it's saying, what is the possible rule for posts? So to find the posts, what you could do versus the sections is you could take the number of sections and do what to it to find the posts. Well, if you're looking, you should be seeing some type of a pattern. Well, the pattern is taking it and multiplying it by 3. So what you could say for the possible rule to find posts is taking the sections and timesing it by 3 to find the number of posts. Now, how can you find the rule for rails? So going from post to rails, who can see that one? It's increasing again. So it's either adding or multiplying. And if you keep on looking and trying adding and multiplying, you should see that it is timesing by 2 satisfies all of these. 6 times 2 is 12, 3 times 2 is 18. So therefore, in order to find the rails, I would take my posts and timesing it by 2 to equal the amount of rails. So in order to find this missing number here, what I can do is I could take 27 and go this way. So that means I would have to go that way, which is timesing it by 2 to find that missing number. So 27 times 2, that would be 7 times 2 is 14, carry your 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So therefore, my missing number is 54. Because I should have times that one by 2. All right, now it says, what if another style of fencing has 6 rails between each pair of posts? How many rails are needed for 27 posts now? So do you see how they have the ... This means that there's just the numbers in between. They are just skipping a whole bunch of numbers and going right to it. So you just got to be paying attention, because sometimes they just skip right to the number. Sometimes they do the dot. I see more of them just skip right to that number. So be very careful and make sure you're paying attention that there was a difference in numbers. So here we go. What is the possible rule to find this? So we could go this way. Posts to rails. What is the rule? So going from post, we are going up. So I see that. So going from a 3 to a 12, a 6 to a 24.
Please excuse the interruption.
Hold
We
on.
have the fire alarm thing.
All right, so if you do it this way, it would be post to rails. By the way, they're going to be testing the fire alarm. So if it goes off, I'm going to have to stop recording and then I'll go back to it once it is on. So going from post to rails, what is going on? 3 to a 12, 6 to a 24, 9 to a 36. Well, you should be seeing a pattern and it is timesing it by 4. So taking the amount of posts and timesing it by 4 will give you your rails. That is the rule. So in order to figure this, I would take out 27 and do that rule, which is timesing it by 4. And it should give me this number. So 7 times 4 is 28, carry your 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So therefore, the unknown number here is 108. Okay, next one. Your next one that we are going to talk about is just doing a couple more of these, and then we're going to go right into the homework. So right here, they're saying Jane works as a limousine driver. She earns $50 for every 2-hour shift that she works. How much does Jane work in 1 week if she works 40 hours per week? Write a rule and complete the table. So it's saying how much will she earn if she does 40 hours. So in order to figure this out, I could go this way. So if you can see the rule that is going on, going 2 to 50, and then 4 to 100 and 6 to 150. If you were doing that, you should be either adding or multiplying because it's getting bigger. Well, if you take 2 of something and times it by something, what would it be if it is 50? It is actually 2 times 25 will give you 50. 4 times 25 cents is going to give you 100. 6 quarters will give you 150. So what is the rule? Well, the rule is taking the hours worked so the hours worked and timesing it by 25 will equal Jane's pay. So that is the rule. So now that we know the rule, how do I figure out 40 hours worth? Well, I got to do that same rule, which is timesing by 25. So I'm going to do that up here, 40 times 25. So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Then I bring a 0 on down. Then 2 times 0 is 0. And 2 times 4 is 8. So when you add this, it'll be 0, 0, 8 plus 2 is 10. So then your answer would be $1,000. Okay, next it says Rosa plays a game at a fair and she can buy 8 game tokens for $1. Each game costs 2 tokens. How many games can she play with 120 tokens? Write a rule and complete the table. So if you are looking here, this is the thing that they set up. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, guys. Sorry. So here is the chart that they made off of this. Now it says, now how many games will she play with 120 tokens? So we're going this way. So what is the rule going from tokens to the games, tokens to the games. If you look, you should be seeing some type of a rule going on. Well, it's getting smaller, so it's either subtracting or dividing. Well, in this case, if you kept on going, if I subtracted this by 4, that would give me 4. But 16 minus 4 does not give me 8. So that's not going to work. So therefore, if you kept on going, you should have tried division. You divide by 2, it should give you that number. So therefore, the rule is taking the tokens and dividing it by 2 will give you how many games. So knowing that, if you went and took 120, and then you use that rule of dividing it by 2, we will get how many games that is. So can 2 go into 1? No. Can it go into 12? Yes, that is 6. Okay, so 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract it. That would be 0. Check it. We are good. So bring down your next 0. How many 2's will go into 0? Would be 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0 with no remainder. So therefore, your answer is 60 games. All right. So that is what you are going to be doing. So over here, that's what you're going to be asked to do on your homework over here. Just be very careful because they just wanted you to fill out the rest of this. It said that the rule here, Faye wants to buys 15 t-shirts, which are on sale for $3 each. How much money does she spend? So the rule here is taking the number of t-shirts and multiplying by 3 to get the money spent. So they wanted you to figure out what the rest of this was until you got to 15. So keep in mind here, they skipped a number. They skipped some numbers here and they skipped numbers here, but they didn't tell you that they were skipping numbers. So do keep that in mind. So if I kept on going and I just times it by 3, 15 times 3, 5 times 3 is 15. Here, if I times this by 3, 3 times 10 is 30. And then times this one by 3 would give me 45. So that's what they are doing there. All right, I'm going to go back to 9.5 to give you your homework on this, and then we'll come back to this page. All right, so 9.5. This is page 563, by the way. We are going to do a couple together. So this one is saying multiply the number of hours by blank to find the number of miles. So they want to know what is going on here. Well, we know it's getting big, and it's getting very big. So the one thing that we could do to figure this out, we know it is timesing. We could actually do the opposite and divide these to figure out what is going on. What is that rule? What is it multiplying by? So if you divide these, you can probably figure out that number that it needs to be multiplied by. So 2 times 2 can go into 13, 6 times, that would be 12. That would be 1. Check it. We are good. Bring down your 0. How many 2's go into 10? It is 5. 5 times 2 is 10 with nothing remaining. So therefore, your answer is timesing by 65. So these should be timesing by 65 to figure out these. So in order to figure out this unknown, I need to times that by 65 as well. So what is missing is the multiplying by 65. So we got to figure out what 65 times 8 is. 8 times 5 is 40, carry your 4. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 4 more is 52. So the unknown number here is 520. Also, we're going to do this one real quick. It says to make each costume, Rachel uses 6 yards of material and 3 yards of trim. Suppose she uses a total of 48 yards of material to make several costumes? How many yards of trim will she use? Write a rule that you can use to find the number of yards of trim. Okay, so here we go. It says you're going to take a costume. This is costume. How many costumes? This is yard of material. And then this one is yard of trim. Okay, so for one costume, it is going to take 6 yards of material and 3 yards of trim. So let's just do one more costume. If I have one more costume, 6 plus another 6, that is 12. And then if I have 3 yards of trim plus another 3 yards, that is 6. So now with 2 numbers, it's so much easier to look at to find the patterns. So going from 6 to 3, what is going on? I am seeing that it is dividing by 2. So it's saying find a rule to find the number of trim. So what I would do as my rule is taking my material, timesing it by, dividing it by 2 to equal my trim. Now it said over here, suppose she uses 48 yards of material. So the thing that is being continued is this one, because this one was the one about material. So it's saying here is your 8. So if this is 8, how many yards of trim will be needed? So in this case, in order to figure this out, I would have to take this number and use that rule, divide by 2 to figure out what that missing number is. So if I did 2 into 48, 2 can go into 4 twice. That would be 4, subtract, that would be 0. Check it, we are good. Bring down your 8. How many 2's go into 8? That is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 with no remainder. So therefore your answer is, that would be 24 yards of trim. So on your homework for this part, you are going to finish 2, which is finishing the rule and this. Number 4, the rule and the missing number. And number 5. Then on the next page, here, I will just help you out with this first one. It says, what rule can you write to relate sequence 2 to sequence 1? So it wanted sequence 2 to sequence 1. It wants this way. So we got to go that way as well. In order to find this, I would have to go 12 down to 4. That is dividing by 3. So let's see if that works here. 24 divided by 3 does equal 6. Oh, sorry, 8. 36 divided by 3 does equal 12. So that is a true thing. So therefore my rule is taking sequence 2 and dividing it by 3 is going to give me sequence 1. The other thing that they wanted you to see is that you could do that keep, change, flip thing. And you could also say sequence 2 and then times by, flip this around, 1/3 will also give you sequence 1. That's just another way to do it as well. So you could have said either times 1/3 or divide by 3. Me personally, I would have picked this one, but I do want to show you your options of what you could have said. 2 is for homework. 3 will be for homework and 4 will be for homework. I want to do this one with you real quick. It says Terry uses 3 cups of pumpkin seeds to decorate the tops of 12 loaves of bread. She puts an equal amount of seeds on each loaf. How many cups of pumpkin seeds will she put on each loaf? So what is going to be the thing that's going to be divided up? Well, it's asking how many seeds will be put on each loaf. So what needs to be said first is your seeds. Your seeds, there are only 3 cups, and then we're going to divide that amongst 12 loaves. So in order to do that, you would make a fraction out of this. So remember, when in fraction form of a division problem, that first number is always first, and then that second number is always on the bottom. Well, you can't divide this out because it's just going to be a fraction. There's not going to be, it's not like saying that there's like an improper fraction. So this is all your answer was. You could have said this much of a cup on each one, or you could have reduced this down by dividing both the top and the bottom by 3. And then that could also be 1/4. So you could have had 3/12 or 1/4 would have been your answer on that. And then on your last homework, which is 9/6, which I need a picture of both of these. So keep that in mind. I need a picture of both 9/6, the front and the back, and 9/5 and 9/6, both front and the back. So therefore, make sure you're attaching 4 pictures to this homework, or it will be returned back to you. Here's the second part of this. It is 2 you need to do. Finish it. Now be careful, especially right here. It does skip a whole bunch of numbers, so do keep that in mind. And same thing here. It did not do that ... thing, so keep that in mind as well. The numbers do switch on you, so make sure you're putting down the possible rule and finishing out what the question is saying. So you're just going to do 2, 3 on that page, and then on the back, I want you to do 3, 4, and 5. Oh, sorry, 3, 4, and 6. Sorry, 3, 4, 6. And that is all your homework for this lesson. That is both a combination of 9/5 and 9/6. So please attach both homeworks, 9/5 and 9/6, both front and back of both of those. So that is a total of 4 homeworks for this assignment. Okay, and that is it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.